Hello everybody. Today I'm going back to the basics so I can show you my new foolproof method for achieving a razor sharp plane iron. Let's see how this is done. First I want to take a look at the things you're going to need to do the sharpening. And the very first thing and most important is a flat surface. What you see here is a chunk of marble that came from the side of my fireplace when I remodeled the house. That's the flat surface that I use. It's about 4 feet long and 10 inches wide. I clamp it to my bench when I'm using it, and when I don't need it I can move it anywhere I want to put it. I also have a big old slab of granite that was a headstone. On that I've got 3 sheets of 220 grit paper attached to it, and we'll talk about how that's done. This is where I do the finish sharpening right here. I call these my lapping station, and over here is my sharpening station. The rest of the things you're going to need. I showed you in another video how to make scrapers. You're going to need some type of a scraper, a cleaner. I've got simple green, some paper towels. You're going to have some paste wax, 3M77 spray adhesive, a general number 810 blade sharpener or an equivalent, and then you're going to have something to sharpen. I pulled off my pegboard, this old Stanley number 2C that's been up there for about a year, and I haven't done anything with it. So I use that iron to sharpen and test. The other stuff you're going to need is 150 grit sandpaper, as many sheets as it takes to cover whatever you're going to do your sharpening or lapping on. And then the finish sanding is the special paper. I use 1000, 3000, 5000, 7000 grit. If you want to buy the stuff, the manufacturer, it's Stark. Right there's Stark. The paper is silicone carbide waterproof. 991A soft flex. I went on eBay. This is where I bought mine in packs of 5 or 50. They sell it in smaller packs. It's a little bit salty. Pack of 50, depending on the grit, $45 to $65. I've already prepped my lapping station for paper where I'm going to do the initial bevel, but the way I did that was first I scraped it with a scraper to make sure there's nothing on there. And then after I scraped it and wiped that off, I cleaned it with simple green. After cleaning my lapping station and the sharpening station, I waxed them both with good quality paste wax. With that done, I'm going to take my 4 sheets 150 grit. I'm going to spray the number 77 spray adhesive on the back and attach them to the lapping station. With my 150 grit paper spread out nice, I mist the back sides of them with the number 77 spray adhesive. Now you position your paper. Mine overlaps the marble, so I fold the edge over and just rub it down end to end, all 4 sheets. Get this little joint butted right up against one piece of paper to the other. And it's that easy, and the lapping station is ready to go to work. My sharpening station was done the same way, but I used 220 grit paper, and we're going to see what that's for in a little while. There's a lot of information on the internet about what angle to sharpen your bevel to. 25 degrees is in general the angle that you want to use. But before I worry about the bevel, the first thing I want to do is take the iron from that old number 2 and make sure the backside is perfectly flat. I took about 30 seconds with an old sanding sponge and cleaned up both sides of the iron. And now the best place to lap it flat is right over here on my lapping station. I've got about 3/4 of an inch on the sandpaper, holding it perfectly flat, and start to slide it left to right. Check it often to see how it's working, and continue till it is perfectly flat. So I fast forward to about 2 minutes I've been doing this, and it looks pretty good. We're going to take a look at it. These old irons look flat to the naked eye, but once you start lapping you can see how far off they really are. You can see this one here, the outside edges are low, but the most important thing is all the way across the leading edge. I've got it flat, and you can see back here there's some real shallow pits, but there's not any at the leading edge. If they were, and if possible, you want to lap those out. Now the back side of the iron is ready to go over to my sharpening station. I told you I was going to tell you what this 220 grit was used for. What it does for me is it just holds my other paper in place so it doesn't slide around while I'm working on it. So right now I've got the 1000 grit down and we're ready to start working on the back side. So you do the 1000 just like you do the 150. I'm going left to right, making sure I apply pressure to that leading edge and then check it. You want to look for the scratches from the 150 and make sure that they're going away. Once I'm happy with how that looks and I don't see any more scratches, then I go to this swirling motion right here and then take another look. And there's a close look after the 1000 grit. Now I replace the 1000 grit paper with 3000 and repeat the process. Left to right. Check it for scratches. About 20 to 30 strokes going left to right is all it's going to take. You can feel the bite. And then after that's done, I finish it again with the circular motion. There's a close-up look at that leading edge. Now I swap the 3000 for 5000. And it's another repeat. There's a close-up with the 5000 grit. Now we swap out for the last time, replace the 5000 with 7000. And the swirl. And that's got the backside prepped. And this gives you a better idea what it looks like right here. Ready to be put to work once I get the other side to the 25 degrees and sharpen. There were two things on the list of things needed for this that I forgot to mention. That's a square and a very fine tipped Sharpie. Use the square and the Sharpie to mark a line right across that back side that was just lapped. That's the line you will use as a reference to keep it square throughout the entire rest of this process. I firmly lock those blades in my blade sharpener and I just eyeball it from the underside to make sure that the blade or the iron is parallel to the sides of the sharpener. I use my 25 degree template and my calibrated eyeball to make sure I'm close to that 25. And then it's long strokes on the 150 grit paper, applying even pressure. No pushing left, no pushing right. Watching my reference line. I've made a few strokes. I'm going to check the bottom to see how it's doing. At first glance you can see it's removing the metal furthest back from the cutting edge. This iron wasn't sharpened at 25, so it's got a lot to remove before we get down to the very front cutting edge where we want to be. Getting that bevel sharpened down is just repeating the process. Long strokes, even pressure, watching that front reference line, and check it every once in a while to see how it's progressing. It's already taken off substantially more. I'm going to keep this up and show you when it's done. At this point, to the naked eye, it looks like I've got the bevel complete all the way to the front edge. A trick I've learned to tell for sure is I rub my thumb across this back side. I feel a burr over here and it's nice and smooth over here. So that means I haven't got it all the way over to this edge here. Even though it looks like it's sharpened the whole way, it's not. So I'm going to continue until I can feel the burr all the way across. While it may not show up here on the video, with the naked eye you can actually see the burr, and it runs all the way across the leading edge, so that means that my 25 degree bevel is right where it should be. We'll try looking at it from this angle. Now this is where my new technique starts. So far everything is the same as the last time I showed you how to sharpen irons. Right now that 150 grit paper left scratch marks, lines from the grit running left to right. We're going to change that. Now this is where the new technique kicks in. I'm pivoting on the back wheel of the blade sharpener. I'm going left to right. Giving that a few strokes, I'm going to check it. And what I'm looking for is now there isn't any more lines that are going front to back. Everything is going left to right. And there's still some very fine lines showing. So we're going to do it one more time. Now all those front to back lines have disappeared. And there's a look at it now with the 150 grit lines going left to right. Now I'm back over on my sharpening station where I'm going to continue the same left to right sharpening method. This time I'm using the 1000 grit paper. And this 1000 is probably the second most important. The 150 is first. Getting that bevel set. 1000. Make 30, maybe 40 strokes. You're going to check it. And you're going to eyeball check it to see if you can see any more of the 150 grit line. So right now, I don't see them, but just for good measure, I'm going to give it about another 20 strokes. And that's it for the 1000. The 1000 is out and the 3000 is in. Same left to right. This time it's only going to take about 25. Time to change the paper. The 3000 has been replaced by 5000 and about another 20 strokes. You can really feel the paper bite. Time to swap out the paper. 5000 replaced with 7000. And again, it's only going to take about 20 strokes. The last thing you have to do is remove the iron from the blade sharpener. We're going to remove the burr that's here on the back side of the cutting edge. And that's done by laying it on the 7000 grit paper. And I draw it backwards, kind of going from left to right. And I can see little tiny flakes of metal on there. I kind of like brush them back to the underside. Left to right, pull them back. And it's time to see what she looks like. I have a small patch of hair here on my wrist where you see it's bald. That's because it's reserved for checking the razor sharpness of my irons. And I think this one's going to be every bit of razor sharp. Look at that. That hair is just coming off. And as usual, just looking good is not going to be good enough. I'm going to have to test this iron to see what it can do. I didn't clean the cap iron at all, but you can see the point I want to make is when your iron is square, it will fit really nice with your cap iron. It's time to take the old girl for a test drive. And for that, I've got a 36-inch long, 3/4 inch wide piece of poplar in my vise. The old number 2 seems to be handling this just fine. Listen to it purr. Not bad at all. And easy as that, the old plane produced some mighty fine looking 1.5 1/1000ths of an inch shavings. I'm pretty confident that my new sharpening method is about as foolproof as it gets. The proof is in the shavings. And that's it for this video. I thought I'd share my sharpening method with you. It's new to me. It might not be to you. I gotta be honest, I make YouTube videos, but I don't watch YouTube videos. So when I learn stuff, I learn through the school of hard knocks, just by trial and error. I've done a lot of trial and error to get to where I'm at today. I think this method is pretty good. It's simple. I think it's almost foolproof. I hope it's something you can use. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's time to go because it's time for supper. Bye.